This is a short video to look at two problems around finding the highest common factor and lowest common multiple. And for these two questions, solutions were given that may have not given real clarity, but also there is an error there and they may not be the quickest way to do it. So let's explore. This 12a says find the lowest common multiple of 24 and 36. And so in this answer, the person has literally written down all multiples of 24 and all multiples of 36 and looked for when they have the same multiple. Now, sadly, two things are perhaps not helpful about this. One, they've missed the lowest common multiple because it's actually 72. But also having to do multiples of bigger numbers may not be the quickest way to get there. What you could do as an alternative is just write down each of these numbers as a product of their prime factors, and then we'll be able to compare them. So let's do that. So we can take out a factor of 2 and we'd be left with 12. We can take out a factor of 2, we'd be left with 6. 2 to get 3 and we are done. So that's 24, and then 36, take out a factor of 2 and we get 18. 2 and we get 9. 3 left with 3 and 3 left with 1. And you could even do it quicker because when we get to 9 you should recognize that that is 3 squared. So you could immediately take out the 3 squared instead of 3 and then another 3. Okay, what I suggest we do now is we just sketch ourselves a Venn diagram because I think they're probably the easiest way to show it. I'm going to change color. So what they share, let's call that 24 and that 36, is their highest common factor. So let's see what they do share. Well, they've got a 2, they've got another 2 in common, and then they've got a 3 in common. And we could write those in there, or we can just work out what that is. So 2 times 2 times 3. Don't add them up. Remember, if we're looking at factors, then we're also looking at multiples. Factors are divisions, multiples are multiplication. So 2 times 2 times 3 is what they've got in common, and that gives us 12. So that is the figure that would be in the middle. And then let's see what's left with 24. Well, 24 has got 2 left. 36 has got 3 left. So their lowest common multiple is going to be these three things multiplied together. So 2 times 12 times 3, which is 72. Okay, that might, when you're practicing, might not seem like the easiest way, but I think breaking it down, if you practice that, you get very quick at it. And then if you get used to the Venn diagram, again, it's such a quick way of doing that, breaking it up and seeing what's happening. Okay, hopefully that's been helpful. Let's move on to the second one. I'll go back to red and let's have a read through. James thinks of two numbers. He says the highest common factor of the two numbers is 3. The lowest common multiple of my two numbers is 45. Write down two numbers that James could be thinking of. Right. Now this is like it's coming from the other direction. So it's like we're working back from the answer. And one of the things that you might consider when you're doing that is algebra. But the difficulty here is we've got two unknowns. We're looking for two numbers. And if you have two unknowns, you've got an X and a Y, then that's much more tricky with algebra. So I would suggest, and if that doesn't make too much sense to you, don't worry. You can look up stuff on algebra, or if you're in my class, then we will come to that. Let's get rid of that. And let's go back to our old faithful of the Venn diagram. Now, let's put in what we know. We don't know what the two numbers are. What we do know is the highest common factor is 3. So that would have to go in the middle. That's got to be shared by both of them. Now, what we can do is look at 45 as a product of its primes. Let's take 2 we can't do, 3 we can do, and that is going to leave us with 15. Take out another 3 and that's going to leave us with 5, and then we take out 5 and that leaves us with 1. So we've used this 3 here in the middle. We've only got 2 other factors left, so if we want to share those out, we're going to have 1 there and 1 there. So that tells us this circle is going to be 3 times 3, which is 9, and this one is going to be 3 times 5, which is 15. So there are our 2 possible numbers. Their highest common factor is 3, and their lowest common multiple is 45. Hey, I hope that's been helpful.